Hello and welcome to something brand new we've been playing with. It's bringing back the Ask Susan Lives and amalgamating it with Congruent Living for Seekers and Creatives. So if this is new to you, welcome. I am your host today, Susan Lazar-Hart, Congruent Living coach, creator of Congruent Living coaching for forward-leading women and a few exceptional men, asking to move from it's impossible to, wow, I am totally possible. What I'm asking for to create in the world is totally possible, and I'm going for it. So today we're responding to a question that came in, and please send in your questions. This one came in from Sherry, and it's, what does it take to create the courage to forgive yourself? And my question is, what question are you hiding that you could use to forgive yourself? What courage are you hiding that you could use to forgive yourself? Now, let's talk about the whole idea of forgiving. In this reality, forgiving has to do with something you're holding against someone else, right? I'm not going to until I'm getting hearts already. I love it. Hey, as you come on in, tell us where you're from as well. Thank you, Erica. Thank you so much. Tell us where you're from. We have peeps from all around the world. I'm so thrilled to have you coming on in. And if you're listening later, hashtag replay, come in with your comments. So let's get back to where we were. Forgiveness is something that we've been taught in this reality, hey Gulshan, to use against someone else. Now, here's the deal. Everything we be and do has a vibration, right? Has a vibration to it. So anything you're holding against someone, you're actually holding against yourself. So sidebar question would be, what's the value of holding something against myself, right? That vibration that you put out into the world, right? I'm not going to until they forgive me. Well, turn that around, because everything starts from the inside out, right? That infinite being, that eternal being that's right in here isn't asking you to be out of alignment with who you be and what you be. Oh, more hearts, yay! That eternal being is saying, hey, come on in, the water's fine, right? So let's play with this a little bit so we can really get a sense of what that is. What often occurs is that when you go on a rampage, you separate yourself. Hey, Brenda, welcome. You separate yourself from that inner being, right? You separate yourself from that alignment that you're actually asking for. Like we usually say, well, as soon as they forgive, or as soon as they apologize, I will feel. So do you see where you're kind of putting yourself on hold? And you are separating yourself from that inner alignment. And feeling that way, it actually doesn't feel good for you, does it? No, never does for me. Because your inner being doesn't have that thought, right? It's a creation that you've put out into the world. So when I ask what's the value of holding on to not forgiving you, again, I'll reiterate, everything you hold against someone else, you're pushing energy against someone else, you're also pushing you out of alignment with you, right? So you go off on a rampage, whatever that is, and it actually is discordant. It's not congruent with who you truly be. If you want a literal definition of what forgiveness is, it's no longer offering the vibrations that connect you to your inner being, right? Choosing not to forgive yourself. Again, I'm going to reiterate it. When you say I'm not forgiving someone else, there's something about you that you're holding on as true and right and real, that if you actually let it go, just even saying that, it just creates a different sense of peace, right? If you actually let it go, would give you what you're asking for, the guidance from your guides, the information the universe has for you. Again, as long as you're wrapped up in that rampage, you're actually not forgiving you, right? And yes, that takes courage, because forgiveness is not about getting over something. Your inner being isn't asking you to intervene. your inner being is saying you must be true to your own desires. And here's the deal. Yes, it takes courage, because as little children, we're taught to put someone else's desires first, right? So part of having the courage to forgive yourself is having the courage to give yourself a big hug. Hey, Magdalena, welcome. Right? It's the courage to actually step into, is this aligned with what I'm truly asking for, with who I truly be? Again, it's the emotion that we use when we refuse to forgive ourselves is judgment. It's pushing against anything and everyone, including ourselves as being one, right? As if there's something wrong. Well, what if there was nothing ever wrong, right? What if when you stop pushing against, when you stop saying, I'm not going to forgive, right? And remember, every story that you have about you that has to do with judgment, has to do with conclusion, has to do with woulda, coulda, shoulda, has to do with I can't, holds you back from being you. And it separates you from the source of who you truly be. And it just, again, separates you from who you truly be. So, as this is not a dialogue or a monologue, it is a conversation. Come on in with your questions. Let me know what's popping for you. I'm going to give you a little something extra for home play as we tie this up. But first I want to ask, are there any questions, any thoughts, any ahas, any comments? Come on in. Remember, forgiveness is about self-care, right? The willingness to forgive you, to let go, not hold anything against you. You know, in this world we talk about self-care. Well, self-care is more than lighting candles, whatever that is, going for a bubble bath, whatever that is for you, massage. Self-care has to do with being present with that inner being, right? And living in the present, living in the now, and letting go of any thoughts, feelings, or emotions that create that discordance within you, that incongruity within you. Just looking through my notes here, you know, as always, before I go on and ask Susan, I take a lot of notes on what's going on. And it's really, here's another thing to think about. Forgiveness is self-serving, right? It's something you do for yourself. I'm going to repeat that. Forgiveness is something you do for yourself. Because the alternative is harmful to your thoughts, your being, your creations, what you desire to create in the world, and who you desire to be in the world, right? Who you came here to be and what you came here to do. So be good to yourself, right? Be good to yourself. Mahatma Gandhi said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong. Forgiveness requires strength. And that's where we get into, Sherry, that question, and thank you so much. If you're on, come on in with more questions of what courage does it take to forgive myself? What if there was nothing that you had to forgive yourself for? Again, be present with you, right? The fastest way to heal any transgression that you have with anything that's not working for you is to actually let it go, let it flow. You do you, right? I love that. That seems to be the new phrase that's going around this couple of past months or year. You do you, right? Don't do anyone else. When you decide you can't forgive yourself or someone else. Oh, thanks, Gulshan, got some hearts on that, right? What are you actually asking to align with? And that takes courage. That takes the willingness for you to be quiet within you, right? Take that moment or moments, bring out your journal, ask some questions, go for a walk, and ask yourself about am I holding against me that keeps me out of alignment with who I truly be and who I came here to be. So if there are no questions, I will leave you with a little home play. We were talking about this subject on the Congruent Living Academy yesterday. And here's a tool that's juicy and takes courage and actually might give you more peace in your life than you've ever had before. I know it has for me. It's something that I've been practicing with. You know, whenever I get those voices that start to rumble through about what went wrong 10 years ago, 20 years ago, who said what 40 years ago, what my parent might have said, what a sibling might have done, what a teacher said to me, I realize here's this tool, and this is a challenge for you, and I want you to use it and write in here, right here in this Facebook, what it's changed for you. And here's the tool. I did the best with the tools that I had. So say it out loud to yourself right now. Oh, tap into something that you've been holding against you, that maybe you thought, you know, there are so many times in my life where I said, oh, that was really mean. I shouldn't have done that. Or I can't believe I did that to my kids. That was horrible. And now I can look back, instead of rehearsing anything, I can say, wow, I actually did the best with the tools that I had. And you get that? There's a loving of yourself in there. There's an acknowledgement. And there's also opening yourself up to the universe for new tools, for a different toolbox, for more of you showing up. And again, use that phrase, thinking about a parent. Oh, wow, she did the best with the tools that she had. And you get also that there's a, you know, someone in the, Lulu in our Congruent Living Academy said, there's a grace in there. And I totally agree with you, Lulu. There's a grace in there, right? I did the best with the tools that I had. He did the best with the tools that he had. Now, what tools are you going to be using now with courage and the willingness to forgive yourself and the grace that that creates? So let me know what pops for you. Write it in the comments below. You know, this is the place where all the conversations and the best conversations happen. And I check in every day. So I totally appreciate you popping in, and we'll be having more questions every week. So come on in with your questions. What questions do you have? We're finishing off this month with courage, and we're moving into relationships for February. There's been a big, Susan, come on, let's talk about relationships. So we're going to be playing with that in February, and a surprise I'll be announcing at the end of January for a masterclass that I'm creating on the courage to be present and what that takes for you in every relationship. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for popping in. Live boldly, love greatly, and be that fearless leader that you came here to be. Because the world needs much more of you showing up with courage, the willingness to let it go, let it flow, and you do you. I wonder what that can create in your world today. I adore you. Thank you so much for showing up. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.